Okay. So today we're going to talk about something that we call the therapeutic protocol. Now, you may know people who are sick, who have cancer, who have, really unusual symptoms, and you don't know how to heal them. None of us are the healer, right? It's God who is the great physician. But I think it's a confusing thing because, if you are someone who believes in the Bible, someone who believes in the spirit of prophecy, and then you say, well, we're already on a vegan diet and we already, follow these laws of health. What more can we do? I think there are a lot of people who are in this position. And what makes it really confusing too is then now we have other philosophies that are coming into the health field. We have people who are, uh, doing like paleo and these types of things. And so it gets really confusing. What is the best way? And if I'm already on a plant-based diet and I'm not getting better, then should I go on a paleo diet? Should I do this? What other options are there for me? And we have a lot of people who we see in this position. We were in this position ourselves. I just want to share with you my own experience when I was diagnosed with leaky gut. I was on a plant-based diet, and my functional medicine practitioner who had tested me said, well, you're sensitive to all these foods. You're terribly sensitive. You have terrible leaky gut. And I said, but I'm on a plant-based diet. I'm on the healthiest diet that I can be on. And they said, well, actually, the reason that you're sick is because you are on this plant-based diet. You need to be eating bone broth. You need to be eating these kinds of proteins. And I was very confused. I was also very intrigued because I was thinking, well, this is working for people, and why not try this? Why not try this? And but the more that I prayed about it and I thought about it and I looked into it, and I realized a paleo diet is all about eating according to how you evolved. It is eating according to evolutionary medicine. It is taking evolutionary science to its natural course. I mean, like, if you believe in evolutionary medicine, of course you should eat according to how you think you evolved. And so I prayed about it, and I thought, Lord, if I am to, get better, and if I do this diet thing, people say that they're getting better eating this way, eating according to how you evolved, and bone broth and all of that. I was like, Lord, if I improve this way, what is that going to say about you? And I definitely do not want my health to become such an idol that I would rather get better. Who knows? Like, why? Who knows if I would? But I would rather, just have whatever happens than get better using a philosophy that denies that there is a God. I just thought that would be the ultimate betrayal of my relationship with Jesus. And so I thought, Lord, I know that me being sick is not an accident, right? God knows everything. God has a way for everything. And I was like, Lord, if you can help me understand why I am sick, I will do my best to help other people understand what's happening. And so I think Mercy went through a similar experience when she got sick. And both of us, our desire is for people to know why people are getting sick and what it is that we can do, how God's ways are ultimately most powerful. Mercy, you have anything to add before we start?
Yeah, it was the same thing for me. I was in the plant-based diet and I was juicing, I was eating whole foods. And I think at that time I also started eating organic foods, but I was very sick. And so there was a lot of principles that I didn't know. I didn't know that many things had changed. It wasn't the same diet that it used to be when God created. And but there was I had no idea when these things were happening. When I got sick, it was kind of like at the beginning of the epidemic, so people have no idea. I had no idea. There was no research about it, so it was a lot of prayer asking God to lead me to this. to help me recover, because I want to follow his ways. I did not want to go into the paleo, because some lady, there's this lady, the dietitian at work told me that I was sick because I wasn't eating meat. So I knew also from science and from the spirit of resting from the Bible that this wasn't right. So we had to kind of figure it out, and what is really wrong with a lot of us that eat the plant-based and we're sick. So this was a big learning experience throughout the years, and so we're just so blessed that we did recover.
Yes, right. Okay, so let's start our screen share. We're going to go to the protocol. So let me start this here. Share. Okay. And here we go with this. Is this a good, are you able to see everything here, Mercy?
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it.
Let me make it a big screen. Okay. Okay, as it reads here, this is a therapeutic protocol. This diet is to be followed for 2 to 4 months. The length of time that you're on it is dependent on how long it takes for your symptoms to be alleviated. And some of us are staying on this protocol for even longer. I have actually been on this protocol for about 5 years because my issues are not necessarily just because the food that I ate. My leaky gut also has to do with some neurological issues that have to do with other functional and structural issues. And so I have to be really careful. And also, I think because of that antibiotic that I was on that I was telling you about that got taken off the market. I continue to be on it. I'm very happy with it because it keeps me going. I'm not on any medications. I'm not on any pain meds or anything like that. And I have tons of energy to do the things that I need to do. So it's been very helpful for me. So what I'm going to go through here, and Mercy, since she's not on the screen, you can let me know, Mercy, whenever you want to get on and start talking. But in the first 2 to 4 months, we are doing this. I'm going to go to what we do not eat. Okay. We do not consume grains, nuts, and certain legumes might be a little bit more difficult on the digestive system. And we also avoid fruits that are high in sugars. And so, again, those grains would be things like millet, rice, wild rice, sorghum, teff, and oats and corn.
4 months to heal.
I'm going to ask everybody to mute. And the reason for that is these tend to be harder on the digestive system. So we do consume things like pseudograins in place of the grains. So pseudograins would be things like buckwheat, quinoa, amaranth, and quinoa, these 4 things. Instead of nuts, we are consuming seeds that have fatty acids in them. These would be the sunflower seeds and the pumpkin seeds. We also are using seeds that have a lot of omega-3, like flaxseed, chia seed. Now, purslane is not a seed. It's a plant. It's actually a weed, and it grows really nicely in my greenhouse. I love it. And it has a lot of omega-3 as well as vitamin C, and it's very helpful for a lot of things. Other fats that we would consume: coconuts, avocados, olives. We want to make sure we're getting cruciferous every day: broccoli, chard, cabbage, collard, kale, cress, bok choy, cauliflower, mustard greens, radishes, and arugula. And we just put it out there because a lot of people don't know what cruciferous are. And then we also want to get 2 cups of greens every day: lettuce, dandelion, spinach, parsley, cilantro, green onion, leeks, celery. And we separated the cruciferous from the greens because the cruciferous are a little bit more difficult for some of us to digest, and they can give indigestion, gas, and that kind of thing. So and the other thing is that they have things in them that might affect your thyroid gland. We call them goitrogens. And so we recommend that you steam many of your cruciferous, like your broccoli and your cabbage and your cauliflower and those types of things. You might want to steam them. For instance, when I got into being really healthy, I started eating lots of kale. And for me, it was easy to just be like eating kale, like one meal after another. I liked it, raw. And I found that my neck started thickening up and I was developing a goiter. And when I got my thyroid levels checked, I was low thyroid. And so I found out on further food sensitivity testing that I was sensitive to kale. And in the years that followed, I found that I continue to be sensitive to kale. So there are foods that you are going to be sensitive to right now that you might be able to add back into your diet. And there are foods that you might be sensitive to now that you will still never be able to add back into your diet. And so I just wanted to share that with you from my own experience, that you can be sensitive to a lot of these healthy foods and they can affect you in different ways. Starchy roots like sweet potatoes, yams, yuca, malanga, and taro. These are super, super delicious. Mercy actually recommends that you get these in there every day, every other day, very frequently. I will give you a little bit of caution here because I have found that some people who are getting these every day, that we don't do well with them. Like for instance, when I eat some of these things, it drives my blood sugar up. And some people, we had one lady who was doing a root vegetable every single day, and everything was getting better except her blood pressure still continued to be high. And so I asked her to consider, instead of doing the root vegetables every day, to be doing just pseudograins. Have your legumes for lunch with pseudograins, like a cooked pseudograin instead of rice, for instance. The way that we do our lunches, we'll do like a starchy root, like sweet potato, with like maybe a green pesto, with a salad, with some bread, that kind of thing. And so she was getting a starchy root there every day. And so I just asked her, why don't you just do a cooked pseudograin with your greens, your pesto, that kind of thing. And that one thing did seem to improve her blood pressure. She now has, the blood pressure just came down and she doesn't have any issues with that. So I would just, ask you to look at what you're doing if you are go ahead.
The specialized diet. So if you have a high blood pressure, you have a diabetes, it's not gonna be the same. So we have to make a little some changes depending how you're responding with your blood sugar, and also for high blood hypertension. So we might do some changes also.
Okay. Now the other vegetables are zucchini, cucumber, yellow squash, asparagus, artichoke, okra, turnip, jicama, beet, carrots, butternut, squash. So you can see there's tons of vegetables to choose from. Now, another thing that you want to be getting every single day is the Allium family, the anti-infective foods. These have sulfur compounds in them, and they have antiviral, antimicrobial activities. Your garlic, your onion, your green onion, your radish, which is also a cruciferous, I think, leeks and chives. So these are something you want to be getting every single day, sometimes more than once a day. Yesterday, when we talked with you about the antiviral protocol, we told you about doing the garlic lemon juice every single meal. I cannot tell you how many people. I just talked with a friend yesterday who she was saying, Joyce, my grandmother, she's been on a Tums or Pepcid or something every single day because of symptoms when she's eating. She feels like she has too much acid. And just by adding the lemon juice with the garlic to her meals, she doesn't have to take those medications anymore. And we've heard that time and time again. So I'd highly recommend that you try that. The legumes, we recommend things that are going to be easily digested: navy beans, split peas, mung beans, lentils. Would you add lima beans into that too, Mercy?
I found it that it's a little hard to digest, so not into this stage. Some
Okay.
people can, some people cannot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would try experimenting with it. You'll notice that we don't have some of the colored legumes in here, like the kidney beans, for instance. Kidney beans have really high levels of certain lectins in them, and they seem to be a little harder to digest. And so we haven't added them here. The things that will sprout easily tend to be the things that are more easy to digest. And we try with everything to soak overnight. We're very, very consistent about soaking overnight. But then we also try to sprout, because we found that when you go that extra step and allow your beans and allow the pseudograins to sprout, that it's so much easier on the digestive system. You have much more nutrient availability. Mercy actually had a granddaughter who had really leaky gut. She had eczema very, very severely. Actually, she needed hospitalization and that kind of thing. And but when they put her in the hospital, they put her on a steroid, and that steroid caused her to lose hair. And when they also, Mercy had developed this infant formula for her granddaughter, as well as another child who suffered with the same kind of thing and failure to thrive. And they found that these children did much better when the beans were not only soaked, but also sprouted. It caused her child to grow back her hair very quickly. And she was, it was a big difference between just soaking and then soaking and sprouting. Right, Mercy?
Yeah, definitely. In 4 days, start growing hair, the hair back. So
Yeah.
is that how powerful it is?
So we found this very simple thing of just sprouting is very helpful for people who are very, very sick. I mean, the people that Mercy deals with are people who have tried so many different things, people who have been in bed rest and on so many different medications. And so to be able to do it with food is an amazing thing. But it is also a biblical thing. And so we shouldn't be too surprised by it. We want to be eating fruit that is low in sugar. So these would be the pomegranate, green apples, kiwi, grapefruit, and berries. And I will let you know, I used to eat apples and think, why am I getting a stomach ache with these apples? And I realized that it's really important when the food is picked. Like I now have some property where I have 3 apple trees. And last year was the first year that I had eaten apples from these apple trees, because I had just bought the property a couple years ago. And I found when I ate the apples off of my apple tree, I didn't get the stomach ache. And then I found out that they are picking these apples, not ripe, right? And then they put them into these warehouses, and they put a chemical in there to keep them so that they won't ripen anymore. And then when it's time for them to ship them to the grocery store, then they get shipped to the grocery store all throughout the year, right? And so you're getting apples that have been in storage for a long time, maybe weren't picked at their optimal ripeness. And that will affect your digestion. Apples that are not ripe are not good for the digestion. They're actually poisonous for the digestion, I found out. And so all of these things are playing a role in our gut health. And as I mentioned before, these are the things that we are not consuming while we are trying to heal: the grains, the nuts, the legumes, and the fruits. And yes, on Friday, when we talked about what Ellen White had to say about some of these things, remember we said that the grains, once you do start eating them, you have to cook them thoroughly. Do not be eating grains or any starchy foods raw, like potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, and these kinds of things. Same thing for the grains. You do not want to be eating overnight oats that have just been soaked and then blended the next morning. This is going to be very difficult for your digestive system. We do not want to be eating nuts. You know, some people are snacking all day on nuts, very hard on the digestive system. And also these legumes, some of them might be, you know, some that we include here, you might be able to tolerate, and some you might not be. And so just because we include some of them and exclude some of them, this is not the gospel for every single person, but this is just something that we've used as a guideline for the people that we work with. And then the sweet fruits, a lot of people have issues with candida, yeast overgrowth, and dysbiosis, which is basically where the microbiome has the wrong types of organisms growing in it. And so when we're eating things that are high in sugar, it's going to encourage that kind of dysbiosis, as will the sweet fruits. This table here just shows you what we want you to include every day and what a serving size is, what is in that serving. For instance, with berries, you want to get 1 to 2 servings, and 1 serving would be half a cup. That's not very much. And you'll get that in the smoothie that we recommend that you make every day. Other fruits, 3 servings, and that would be like a 1 medium-sized fruit, like 1 medium-sized apple or orange. 1 cup of fresh fruit that you cut up would be 1 serving. Omega-3, we recommend you get 1 to 3 servings, depending on if you're a man or a woman. For instance, we're getting most of our omega-3 from flax or chia. And for women, we recommend that you get 2 to 4 tablespoons of flax seed, and or that'd be flaxseed ground up, right? So 2 to 4 tablespoons of ground up flaxseed. For men, we recommend 1 tablespoon of ground up flaxseed. And for pseudograins, 3 to 4 servings, and a serving would be 1/2 cup of cooked cereal, correct, Mercy?
Yes.
And it would be 1 tortilla.
This is the check. And where grandson and granddad were gone.
Is that who is that?
Okay.
And then 1 slice of bread. And we're going to give you recipes for bread later on. We also recommend that you get your fatty seeds. We make seed butters. So 1 serving would be 1/4 cup or 2 tablespoons of butter. So you can have 1/4 cup of the seed in its, you know, just, we soak everything. So if you're going to do a seed butter, you would soak your sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds. What we do is we soak them and in bulk. So like maybe you'll get like 5 pounds of it. You soak that overnight, and then you dehydrate that. You put that into your freezer. So whenever you want to make a seed butter, all you have to do is take out a couple cups of it, put that in your processor, let that process for about 20 minutes. And then you are ready with your seed butter. And we have recipes for that. You know, we combine it with like coconut and different things like that. So we have recipes for that in the cookbook. The legumes, we recommend 3 servings, and that would be 1 serving is 1/2 cup. So 1.5 cup of cooked legumes. Some of us who are of Asian descent, we can eat these things any time of day. Like, you know, Mercy, she likes to get her legumes and her cooked pseudograins all in the lunch meal. Like, I can eat legumes breakfast or lunch, and I can eat my cooked pseudograins with my legumes, and I like it savory. Mercy likes her cooked pseudograins in the morning, you know, like oatmeal, how people do oatmeal with some milk. She'll do that in the morning with her cooked pseudograins like buckwheat or quinoa or amaranth. She'll cook it, and then she'll put some coconut milk in it with some berries and put some flax meal on top of that. And she likes it kind of sweet, maybe like a tiny little bit of honey with, what else do you put on it, Mercy?
Yeah, a little honey. I put my milk, fruits over the cereal, and of course my smoothie and my bread and butter.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, like I can eat that cooked cereal with like legumes, and I can put some coconut milk on top of it with a little bit of salt, actually, and I like it a little bit savory. So I have done it that way, and that way I can spread my legumes throughout my breakfast and lunch. Now, the cruciferous, you would want to have that at one meal with your greens and your other vegetables, because remember we shared with you that we try to do our greens and our vegetables at a meal that is separate from a meal with fruit. So whatever meal you're going to do with fruit, like if that's your breakfast meal, then your lunch meal would be with your cruciferous vegetables, a half a cup of cruciferous, 2 cups of leafy vegetables, and a half a cup of other vegetables. So you can see lots of vegetables, lots of raw here. And then you want to be getting some of these spices and herbs because they are packed. Because if you dry these herbs, it's just so concentrated. And so when you get your dried basil and other herbs that you're putting into your food, it is just packed with antioxidants. 1 teaspoon of turmeric and any other herb, so 1 to 3 servings, and your anti-infective foods, 2 cloves of garlic, a 1/4 cup of onion. And this is what we put into our pesto. And we have a recipe for a pesto, which is basically where you get a 1/4 cup of onion. You put 2 cloves of garlic or 1 clove of garlic in there with a bunch of different greens. You can either put cilantro or basil into it with avocado, celery, cucumber, and your other greens, and you blend it up and with a little bit of salt. And you can use that as a topping for your root vegetables, for your pseudograins, for your beans, and you're getting your greens in there and you get a nice flavor. So your basic daily routine, everybody, when you are starting out in this, Mercy recommends that you check your weight. Some of us are struggling with low weight because we're not able to absorb the food that we're eating. So there are people who have malnutrition simply because their guts are not working very well and they're not able to absorb their food. How many of you know people who can eat large amounts of food and still not gain any weight? Yeah. So we have a lot of people like that. Mercy was actually helping a number of people who, we had one lady who is in her 80s. I think she's like 88 years old. Is she 88 years old, Mercy? 80 something.
Mhm.
And she weighed only 88 pounds and she was like 5'5", 5'6", something like that. And so you can see she's very, very underweight. She had for much of her life struggled with autoimmune conditions. I think hypothyroidism, I think rheumatoid. Was it rheumatoid, Mercy?
Yeah, it was joint pain. They couldn't know what it was, but it was joint swelling and pain, probably some type of arthritis.
And she had just gone to a lifestyle center. And so her family was very hesitant about her doing anything else, especially like our program, because they said, you've just been to a lifestyle center and it's not helping you enough. And now you're going to do this other thing. But praise the Lord, she tried it out. And what happened to her, Mercy?
Yeah, with her, we had to be very careful with everything she eats. So even the super healthy foods that we already have in this menu, anti-inflammatories, she couldn't tolerate. So we had to remove them and added some other foods to just create a balanced diet. But what really made the difference, besides having a processed, balanced, anti-inflammatory, whole plant-based diet without the foods that, she was reacting to, because we have her order, some stool tests to find out what foods she was reacting to. We remove all that. One thing that I believe that made a big difference was blending the foods. Because, I was doing that last week when I was in the program, and when I was blending the foods, it takes hard work for the blender to blend all this to make it. Imagine the body not even chewing enough. and
Mhm.
then your body's not processing and you have leaky gut, you never get the nutrition you needed.
Yeah.
So when we blended well, so she still had to chew the food because enzymes had to mingle with the food, still chew and eat it slow, and she was gaining 2 to 3 pounds a week.
Okay. Okay.
And we had the same thing happen this week. This gentleman that couldn't gain weight. So when we started doing that, he gained, like, even in one day, the food was assimilated. He gained like 2 pounds in one day. So these things are, need to be applied depending on the condition of the people.
Okay. So the good thing is that within she started gaining weight, and now how much does she weigh?
She gained 15 pounds. She was when I discharged her, she was 103 pounds. And then I told her, and then she started eating, chewing, because we say when we reach 200 pounds, you can start chewing again your food. I mean, not blending it. So then we decided, when you're ready and want to blend your foods again to gain, to reach the 120, she knew what to do and everything else. So I don't know exactly where she at this time, but yeah, she gained good amount of pounds.
I found, because I had TMJ issues, and my TMJ was so severe because of my injury that my blood sugar would go up to over 200 just with me chewing. And so that was very helpful for me to blend my food. And I found that it really doesn't taste bad. It just looks funny when you blend everything all together. So I'll blend my salad, because salad is hard to chew, and I'll blend that with my cooked pseudograin and my legumes. And it makes like this porridge type of consistency, and it actually tastes really good. And in the morning, if I blend my smoothie with, even the bread or the buckwheat cereal or that kind of thing, and the milk, it tastes good. But you have to remember to chew even that, because that helps prepare your body. But it's just good to know that, chewing can make such a difference. And some of us don't have the right teeth. Some of us don't have maybe the time, and some of us, just need that extra help. So it did help this other person that came to the lifestyle center last week as well, a gentleman who was having difficulty maintaining his weight, and he started blending, and his weight did improve that one day after blending his food. So check your weight before you drink. First thing, when you get up in the morning, you want to drink water, and we recommend that you put some lemon into it. And what are you saying here? It's advised to drink the lemon water outside to set the circadian rhythm. What do you mean?
Oh, when you get up in the morning, you go to the bathroom, then you drink your water before you do your devotional. So that's how I do. You go outside to drink your water because you want the first light of the morning to reset your circadian rhythm, right? Because you need that first light. So to start balancing your hormones, the biological clock.
Okay, so you're just saying, just try to do that so that you set a good habit for yourself, and you can get outside into the light and set your circadian rhythm every day. Okay. So, and then aloe vera. Aloe vera is something that we recommend that you do to help heal the gut. 15 minutes before each meal. What we do with aloe vera comes in a long plant, leaf, right? And so it's a triangular thing with a base here like this. So we'll cut off the base, and then we put that into a glass of water, and that allows the latex to come out, this sticky substance that will come out, and that latex causes people to have more violent side effects, going to the bathroom and that kind of thing. So you let that latex come out overnight, and then what you do is you start cutting off the bottom further, like cut off an inch, and you peel it, and then you can eat the whatever is inside that 1 inch amount, and you eat that 15 minutes before your meal, and that will help coat the surface of your intestinal lining. Breakfast. Now we're doing 2 meals a day. So it depends on what your schedule is. I have to eat by 7 just because of my schedule. And it can be for breakfast as a cooked cereal, whether it is made with amaranth, quinoa, buckwheat, or quinoa. And it would be half a cup of cereal with 1.5 cup of water using the Instapot. And you can use other grains once you are feeling better in about 2 to 4 months. And after you cook it, you can add some milk, add some fruit to your cereal, as Mercy had mentioned. The milks that we use are coconut milk. We blend up some coconut flakes, dehydrated coconut flakes with some water, or we have soaked sunflower seeds overnight or pumpkin seeds overnight. And then we use that to blend up with some water. We have some recipes in our cookbook about this. And we also have bread that we're making, and we make that over the weekend, and then we can freeze the bread and use that throughout the week. And then different fruits that you can have, as we mentioned, the fruits that are lower in sugar, like kiwi, grapefruit, pomegranate, and make sure you get some berries every day. These berries you can also incorporate into the smoothie. We have the recipe for it, which are the berries, the green apple, pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds, depending on, every day you're kind of rotating, you're alternating whether you're going to do pumpkin seeds that day or sunflower seeds that day. Every day you're going to rotate whether you do chia seeds that day or flax seeds that day. And that way you get like a variety of different foods into your diet. This butter is made out of either sunflower or pumpkin seeds, or we also can add coconut to the sunflower or pumpkin seed in the food processor and make a butter with that. You can put avocado on your bread and make a spread with that. I have a friend who has also put flaxseed into the blender and blended it so that it becomes kind of pasty. Add some salt to that, and she says that it's delicious. We also want to be getting the flaxseed. So we grind up 1 to 2 tablespoons of flaxseed for men, 2 to 4 tablespoons of flaxseed for women. For people who are postmenopausal, we would recommend that you have the higher amounts, about 4 tablespoons. Mercy has found that to be helpful for symptoms of menopause. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory, antiviral. It is super helpful for pain and inflammation. So we drink 1 to 2 teaspoons of turmeric powder daily with a 1/4 cup of milk, whether it's coconut or another type of milk. And you can add 1/2 teaspoon of honey or stevia, and that will make it a little sweeter. You can also add the turmeric to your smoothie, but we recommend that you not mix it up. Just kind of mix it up with a little bit of smoothie so that you can get it down, because that turmeric powder, not many people like the flavor of it. And so it's a strong taste. I don't mind it, but it's not yummy at all. Okay. I do things because it's healthy and not necessarily because it's tasty, but Mercy wants everything to taste really good because, of course, we want people to enjoy what they're eating. Some of us have higher tolerances for what we will enjoy. The lemon garlic drink, we recommend that you do with your meals: 2 small cloves of garlic blended with the juice of 1/2 lemon in 4 ounces of room temperature water. You blend that up and you drink that with your meals. Now, if you need to gain weight, you want to start early. You want to have your morning meal early so that you can have your lunch and you can have your evening meal. So you can have 3 meals if you are seriously malnutritioned. If you are going to stick to the 2 meals a day, which we do recommend for most people, you just want to space it out so that you have at least 5 hours between your meals. And aim not to have any, what did you say here, Mercy? Note, aim not to have any sweeter food items during this time to give the digestive system enough time to process them during the day. What do you mean by the sweeter foods?
Okay, somebody wrote this, kind of edited for me. That doesn't make
okay sense. So that one we'll take this part out, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So lunch is what a typical lunch could be. It would be, we recommend 70% raw fresh foods, 30% cooked, and that you get your legumes in. Remember, you want 1.5 cups or so of cooked legumes. It could be white beans, black beans, red beans, pinto beans, but this would be after you've healed. We recommend in the beginning it'd be more like the mung beans, maybe lentils, split peas. Those tend to be more easy to digest, and she's put the ones that are bolded that are easier to digest. Now, starches would be like the root vegetables, like the sweet potatoes, malanga, yucca. And so those would be the starchy vegetables. And then the regular other vegetables like what were those, like zucchini, and let me come back up here and look and see what other vegetables. Zucchini, cucumber, yellow squash, asparagus, artichoke, okra, turnip, jicama, beets, carrots, butternut squash. You would want to get those as well. Mercy says triple salad. So this is she just means get a lot of salad in there. And in our servings table, you want to get at least 2 cups of your green leafies in there. In addition to that, we're also doing pestos. And this pesto recipe is in our cookbook as well. Remember, I told you we blend up, usually it's going to be a stalk of celery, some cucumber, a quarter of an onion with garlic, and some avocado, and that's like the base of it. And then you can add some greens to it, whether it's lettuce, spinach, some chard, basil, herbs, this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think we have also, I think you're almost done. We have some minutes left. We have several questions that we have to go over, but I think you.
I'm almost done. Okay. So dinner we're not doing dinner for most people, but some people, if they need to gain weight, you can have half a smoothie. Mercy, would it be half a smoothie here?
Yeah, for the nights we do half a smoothie and bread.
Okay. And you don't want to be putting butters on it because you don't want to be eating too heavy before you go to sleep. And you want to still make your dinner the lightest meal of the day. Now, these are the evening drinks. Onion broth, and here's the recipe for that. We shared that yesterday in our meeting. Mercy, do you always put in the garlic? Are there times that you don't use garlic for people?
You mean the garlic that we use in the protocol for each meal?
Okay. No, for the onion broth. Are there times that you just use onion?
We can, but lately we've been adding always the garlic because it's just more powerful to balance the bacteria and more powerful for everything. So, the lady that we helped this week that was in the hospital, it had the onion and the garlic. I believe if we're not for the garlic, she probably it wouldn't have the powerful effect.
How about the lady with the peptic ulcer? Remember there was a peptic ulcer lady?
Yeah, for the peptic ulcer, I will just do onion.
Okay. So for peptic ulcers, don't put the garlic in. Now, so you do the onion broth, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. She recommends a ginger tea 3 times a week. This is also antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. 1 inch of garlic sliced with 2 to 3 cups of water, and you bring to a boil. Then you simmer it for 20 minutes. You can put in a little stevia leaf to help with taste. She recommends that you do it 3 times a week. Mercy, is that every other week it says here, or is this another typo?
For
ginger, it says every other week, 3 times a week.
Yeah, it's another typo. Thank you for checking that. I need to refix it. It's 3 times a week.
Okay, 3 times a week. Okay, and then at 8:30, she recommends charcoal. This is just to help you understand like how to fit all these things into your day, okay? So 8:30, 1 teaspoon to 1 tablespoon of charcoal in a glass of water. When would you do teaspoon and when would you do a tablespoon?
Well, if people ask, have constipation, we do just 1 teaspoon, see how they do it. And then we increase it as the bowels are moving with all these super fiber foods. But if you don't have any problems with constipation, I would just do it 1 tablespoon.
So Mercy also recommends doing aloe right before you go to sleep to help coat the intestinal lining. And she also does it 15 minutes before meals. Additional support can be given by getting some sources of vitamin C, which would, be from an orange or lemon peel. You can get some raw orange that's organic or a lemon, and then you can dehydrate it and then powder it. This is confusing to me because I know that when you process things and when it's exposed to light, that it seems that you lose that vitamin C, but I don't know about how all that works. Do you know, Mercy?
Because the foods are not processed yet. So when you save this, and when you don't cook them, you preserve the vitamin C. So in order to lose the vitamin C is when you are you're cooking it, any vitamins you lose, the amounts of vitamins. So you want to do fresh, the fresh the better, but it's okay to do frozen. You can freeze your the skins in the freezer, and it's not as great, but it's still good amount.
Okay.
How we use.
Sunbathing at 4 to 6 times a week. It's really hard to get this in the winter time where I live. And so I really do try to get it during the summertime, but I have to say that this is one thing that I'm very weak in, and I find significant improvement in my health when I do it. So try to get outside and sunbathe, expose as much of yourself as you can. And especially if you have a GI issues, expose your abdomen to the sun. If you have kidney issues, expose your back where the kidney area is, and it will improve blood flow to these areas, as well as help with vitamin D production. And it will help with mood. It will help with all of those things that you need for good health. So you want to sunbathe approximately 30 minutes, turn every 5 minutes so you don't burn. And then green juices, we have some recipes here for green juices. Try to get those green juices in while you're trying to heal, 30 minutes before your meals. It is not to take the place of your meal, but to be a source of supplement, as well as probiotic. Other health maintenance routines, the gargles, nasal sprays, the oregano oil inhalations, and the contrast showers, as we talked about yesterday. And we do not put any free fats into our foods, nothing from a bottle, oils or that kind of thing. We get all our fats from food. We don't use any gluten. We don't use any corn, just because corn and soy are high-risk GMO foods. So we do not use anything that's high-risk GMO. That's the other reason why we don't use yeast. We're not using oats right now just because, number one, it's a grain. And so while we're trying to heal, we get grains out. If you test positive for oats on Enterolab stool tests, we don't recommend you add that back into your diet ever. But if you don't test positive for it, you might be able to tolerate gluten-free oats in the future. But the things that we don't add back gluten foods, we don't add back corn, we don't add back soy products, just because of the genetic modification. Mm-hmm. Don't forget to exercise. And use stainless steel. I would not be using Teflon. Use glass or cast iron pots. No snacking between meals, and only water to drink. Don't be drinking with other things, and do not drink with your meals. And here are some promises that you can claim. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. 3 John 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health. Be in health, even as thy soul prospereth.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Amen. So we have some questions. One question is about probiotics. So we do not do probiotics, and the reason is because what they mix the probiotics with. I was looking for probiotics for my grandbaby. There was no one healthy probiotic for babies, for children. There is no supplements that are healthy for children. I was just researching. So I had to give her some adult B12 and vitamin D, liquid, organic, and plant-based. So it was super hard to find it. And I could not find any healthy probiotics for what we put into it. And another reason is because the probiotics, they have a copies of, billions of copies of 3 to 24 type of bacteria. And that creates a really bad imbalance of the bacteria, because we're supposed to have like hundreds of species of bacteria. So that's why we eat a variety of foods different days, because we want different bacteria are grown by different fibers, which is the food. So that's why we eat this way, just to create a very balanced bacteria, so the inflammation will decrease and we will recover speedily. There is another questions. Here I'm gonna go, Melody sent me some questions. Let's see. Once I try to lower a high fever in an 8-month-old baby with a lukewarm water bath, but it didn't work. What would you have done? It depends. Okay, this is an 8-month-old baby, so it's all enough to have the broth. I will give our baby, my grandbaby, we will give on regular basis onion broth to decrease inflammation. It really helped. So you can do the broth with the garlic, and the baby can drink it, and that will help. And you can do the enema also. So the formula is 1 big onion with 5 cloves of garlic, 3 cups of water, and a baby, you'll do a small amount. So we probably give them maybe 1/4 cup or even less than that every day. Or if you want to do even half of that, you can do 3 times a day. This will help decrease whatever inflammation, whatever infections the baby is having. There is another question. You said to take high dose of vitamin C if a person steps on a rusty nail to prevent tetanus. How much vitamin C daily and for how long? There is foods. Yesterday, Dr. Joyce put all the foods high in vitamin C. So we don't do vitamin C other than the foods, because we believe that it's more powerful and it brings a more balance. So we will do high amounts of vitamin C, and we can see that on bell peppers, if the people can tolerate, and it's not a problem with the nightshades. Another food that is very high is kiwis. Kiwis are very high. The peels of the lemon and the orange have high amounts of vitamin C and very high anti-inflammatories. So I will do those foods instead, because we don't do supplements. Another question, you also said you would soak the rusty nail wound with salt water and put ammonium on it. No, we said as onion, not ammonium, onion. So after you soak the food, the area that has been, affected, you put onion. So the inside of a layer of an onion, just put in the area and wrap it up. So that will pull the infection. So that's what we do. So you do high amounts of foods with vitamin C. You soak the food with salt water, and then you put onion in the area. And you can also put something like powerful. Somebody was mentioning yesterday, charcoal with bentonite. You can make a poultice, put a little of psyllium, and then put it in the area. So you can do one time that, and then maybe in 4 hours. When you have these serious infections, you have to change the poultice continuously. So I will change that every 2 hours. If somebody had an issue, put one time you put the onion, one time you put the charcoal bentonite, and you can keep rotating them, because that's going to keep pulling the infection. Same thing when you are have a bitten with a snake. You have to, if you don't have place to go to the hospital, things like that. You have to change the poultice, charcoal poultice, like every hour or every 15 minutes, as fast as you can do it, just to save the life of the person. Okay, let's see. So Melody was explaining about the contrast bath. So she had a bathtub outside, and also she bought this, let's see, maybe you can explain well. So this Carol is, let me see. She said yesterday a Carol threw, but it's outside. So you put that outside. So you buy these big containers that are for the cattle to drink water. So you put in one cold water, and the other one you put the hot water. So you go back and forth. So this is a contrast bath. So we do contrast sauna, contrast bath, contrast shower. You can do the same thing, contrast the cold sheet. So there's many things you can do with the contrast. Contrast is very super great treatment for hydrotherapy. So
someone was asking about the beans. Did you answer the questions Andrew asked about cooking the soaked beans and the sprouted beans?
You can answer that. I haven't answered.
So we have some recipes for that. We soak 2 cups, about, that's what we call for, I think, in the recipe. And Mercy uses 1 tablespoon of onion powder for every cup of bean. So if you soak 2 cups, you would use 2 tablespoons of onion powder. And then she uses 1 teaspoon of garlic powder for every cup of bean. And so we would be using 2 tablespoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder for every 2 cups of a legume that we soak or sprout, and we cook it the same way. And then at the end of the cooking it, when it's soft, you would add how much salt?
1 teaspoon per cup. Depending, if it's a granulated salt, it's 1 teaspoon. If it's the powder, fine powder, you have to use a little less. Otherwise, your food is going to be too salty.
Now, we do not use refined salt that you get from, what is it, Morton's? Is it Morton salt?
No.
We get salts. Some people like Himalayan. I think you have to be careful with your source of Himalayan, if it's good, because when we used Himalayan on some people who were really sick with congestive heart failure and kidney issues, they started having issues with the swelling. And we did not find that when we used Celtic salt and real salt from Idaho, real Redmond salt. And so Judith says, if I can't tolerate beans at all, even soaked, does that mean that I have leaky gut?
We have to talk about, more likely you have to talk about, we don't only want to soak, we have to sprout them. When they sprout, people tolerate better. I had this lady I was helping, and she couldn't tolerate beans at all. So she will be sick for a long time. But when she sprouted, she tolerated it better, but she wasn't ready because she was dealing with a very serious leaky gut. So what we do is, you try green beans first. They're should be the easiest to digest, and then while your leaky gut is healing, you can add it something like red lentils are easier to digest for most of people, or you can do whatever it was mentioned in there today. The mung beans can be done, and the white beans supposed to be easy. If you distend it, you definitely have leaky gut when you're eating. So that's one of the signs of leaky gut. So so you can do that. You have to apply the protocol that we talked about this morning to recover from leaky gut.
And some people can't tolerate the legumes for a while, and then you might just do the pseudograins for a while you're trying to heal. And those pseudograins, some of them have lots of protein in them, like the amaranth. If you go and look at the nutritional content, super high in proteins. And so
Yes.
Oh, and the quinoa too, very high in protein. So yeah, you'll get a lot of protein just from these other foods that you are eating. Praise the Lord. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
any other Melody says to order their cookbook, go to actually I would go to Wholeness Market. I'm going to put that in here. wholenessmarket.com. That's where you can get the cookbook. Years Restored is Mercy's
It has a
lifestyle
link.
center.
We have a link there. So do your website has a link also, right? To
Mhm.
Wholeness Market. But Wholeness Market is a direct link.
We don't have the new cookbook. We just took some pictures for the new cookbook and we have not written the new cookbook yet, but
It's
I'm going
coming.
to I'm going to talk with someone this morning about helping us with that. And yeah, so it will be coming. Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Any
thank
mhm.
you so much for attending to this weekend. Thank you, Melody, for inviting us. It's been
Oh,
a
let me
blessing.
show you what the old cook the only cookbook. Okay, this is what our cookbook looks like, and I'll just show you how it's divided up. It has the first part of it is an explanation of what is happening. We talk about getting started. We have some information on how to soak, how to sprout, and then we have the shopping list. And then
the
we have
menu.
the menu, and the menu. Oh, we also have guidelines and how to eat, what we talked about on Friday evening, principles of eating. And then we have the recipes. And so these recipes come with pictures for the 7-day meal plan, all the smoothies. And for 7 days, you get an idea of what a complete breakfast and a complete lunch looks like. And then at the end of it, we have other additional recipes like, the tortilla, like the buckwheat granola, like the seed butters, salad dressings. We also have the wraps and the crackers, some of those raw foods in there. And so it's
Mhm.
it's
And
very
a
thorough.
new book is going to be a little more therapeutic with no nightshades and some new recipes that we came up and something
Yeah.
a little simpler.
No
But
nightshades.
this first book has a lot of information about leaky gut, about microbiome, all those big issues that people are missing. So it's very informative. So you might be blessed by having the book.
Okay, I hope that this is helpful for you and that, at the very least, even if you're not sick, you might know some people who are having some health issues. And so this gives you something else to add to, what they are already doing, principles that they can follow. You have to be consistent about it. You can't just be like, okay, I'm going to do one recipe and I think that that's going to get me better. You have to do everything. Okay. And so when you start soaking and sprouting, be consistent with it. And I found that like when I eat this way, I'm so comfortable. I'll go out to eat somewhere where they're organic, but they haven't soaked and sprouted their beans, and it will give me indigestion, stomach pains for a few days, and so you'll find we're at this point where we can't tolerate that much, but how soon can you get us the internet link so we can watch this weekend's
Melody,
meetings?
I sent you the first 2 links already.
It's on YouTube.
And you should have the first 2 links that you can email. And the other 3 links will be up hopefully today. So I can send you at the end of the day if they're up. But they send YouTube. And I send you the direct links to YouTube. So
yeah.
Melody, you can email everybody.
It's on Med Missionary on our YouTube channel. So I didn't know that. I went there yesterday and I was shocked. I didn't know that this was going to be on YouTube. So yeah. But
to get it
I
right.
was just talking freely from my heart. And then I was like, whoa, it's on YouTube. So, okay. Well, everybody, God bless you all. And CJ says, thank you, Melody and Joyce and Mercy. Shalom.
Shalom.
Baruch.
God bless
you all. Okay, God bless you all. And let's pray. Mercy, do you want to pray? And then we'll close.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for these weekend meetings, and just ask you that bless everybody that joined it and they can apply these principles that you have given us through the Bible and the Spirit prophecy, that these are the real science that you have given us for this time. And I just want to ask you that everybody can apply every principle that you have given us so we can survive these hard times and survive well, be stronger than ever, because you need us healthy to spread your message. And I just want to thank you for this awesome group. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
God bless you.
Okay, God bless everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.